Thank you for tuning in to Cop with Comic. I'm Brian Koppen. We're here with comic Erik Bransteen. Erik Bransteen, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great. This is exciting. Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, thanks for coming on. You're a big-time stand-up and a big-time podcaster with Tom McCaffrey, former guest.
Oh yeah, he was on the show too?
Oh sure, yeah, he's a funny motherfucker, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
And so you guys are last exit to Brooklyn, and you guys just recently got picked up by a big old company, Storic Media.
Right. So yeah, we're part of a podcast network now that includes a few other big podcasts too. One with Melissa Rivers, and I think one now with the guy who played Pussy on Sopranos. He's got one on that network too. So it's growing. It's a good network.
Good. And so it's kind of has it increased your listenership? I imagine it did.
Yes, definitely.
And so what are you guys talking about on there? It's just riffing on whatever comes up, or are you having a lot of funny guests? And is there any cross-pollination between you and, does Pussy from Sopranos come on the show?
Well, his thing just started, but what do we talk about? We talk about you, actually. We talk about you a lot. It's weird. I don't even know you, and it just comes up every episode.
This Brian Koppen guy. Yeah, I know. Like Tom McCaffrey will occasionally go hard at Trump. Are you guys talking about like current events and politics and shit, or just being?
Yeah, funny? I mean, we don't try to make it all about that because it kind of becomes like a broken record. But you can't help it because we both kind of hate Trump, so it just comes out. Just like the news this week. With RBG dying. You try not to. You try to be reserved, but then on Twitter you kind of explode. You can't help it.
Yeah, and I think that we'll see what happens. That some people are saying, of course, he will nominate somebody to kind of deliver to his base, but other people are thinking, hey, man, he actually needs to get reelected again, so he could find a way to blow it up, so that they have to reelect him to nominate another right winger.
Oh, I see. That's an interesting theory.
Yeah. What do you think? You think they're just going to rush and nominate a 15-year-old Nazi?
Yeah. I think they're going to put a name out like this week, and they'll probably maybe do the vote maybe after the election, because it's kind of, I don't think there's a lot of time, and they might use that as a way for people to vote for Trump. I think like what you were just saying,
like a lame duck thing. That you think the vote will happen during the lame duck session?
I think so, and I think then the senators will have less to risk. Some of the senators who are in danger, if they lose, they lose. If they win, they win. But I feel like it's going to happen after the election. But,
wow, and then in response, are they going to pack the court? Somebody like, I think somebody made the point in an article or something like that where, I think a couple of Republican presidents might have lost the popular vote, or at least Trump. And of course, the Senate represents a minority of people. And so they're saying it's kind of three justices for Trump would be not really democratically appointed. And so that would be a justification to pack the court or end the filibuster.
Oh yeah, and then Bush, he appointed two.
Yeah, did he lose? Did he lose a popular vote?
First time around, he did. Yeah, so it's like the Supreme Court's a joke, and I think that they should just pack it. And you know what? If they throw on a couple, and then all of a sudden a Republican wins the presidency, and they throw on a couple, just keep packing it. Make it like 80 fucking justices. Who cares? Can I say that F word, by the way? I'm not sure.
Oh, please do. Yeah, please do. Are you guys swearing on your program or no? And has that changed when you got added to Storic Podcast Network?
No. There's more swearing.
We got Pussy and Melissa Rivers on here. We're going to swear like crazy. And so, are you guys talking about like packing the court? And is that something that, it sounds like they did it during the New Deal because they feared that his New Deal wouldn't go through, like meaning it would be tweaked something terrible. They can really just tweak existing laws or whatever. And so, I mean, but they said that, Roosevelt did it or whoever, and they said that kind of fucked shit up, that actually burned a few bridges that they needed to get some shit through the Senate. It was almost, certain Republicans or moderate Democrats or whomever were less likely to vote for it because of the packed court. And so, I mean, I guess if there was a time to do it, to kind of institute all these changes, it would be during a pandemic. It would be during racial injustice. Like, do you think now is just such historic time that packing the court would make sense like it did back then?
Well, getting back to that, because a lot of people always say that the FDR, when he packed the court, that was a bad move, and it was not politically a smart move, but it actually was. Okay. Because what was happening is that the Supreme Court kept voting down all his New Deal policies.
Oh, yeah.
And they were ready to vote down Social Security. They were about to do it. So what that did was the threat actually made the Supreme Court act more responsibly.
Oh, okay.
And that's what I feel like right now would happen. If Biden gets in, the threat enough might trigger a little bit the Supreme Court to act more responsibly, because they kind of, especially Justice Roberts, he cares about his legitimacy.
Yeah. So, yeah. He actually gives a shit about the institutional integrity of the thing, which is kind of surprising. But, and I guess they're talking about it in terms of threat. Maybe Biden could threaten it now, being like, okay, if you actually do vote somebody in right now, I'm going to pack the court, so don't. And then Trump is then incentivized to totally wait, and then Biden wins and he doesn't pack the court. But I guess the other thing is, I had a total fucking point about this bullshit and I totally forgot it. But yeah, we probably can use it as an opportunity too. Maybe it'll come back to me later. It totally did not. And yeah, so let's talk about the comedy thing, because another one of our topics is you're a big time comic. Where have you been plying your trade outdoors these days?
Well, let's see. The other day I did a show in a porta potty. The different places now, outside on a lawn, in a tree house. I'm booked in a volcano next week, so hopefully that'll go well.
Dude, don't bomb, dude.
Yeah. You're a comic?
Oh, no, not at all. So I just have all these comics on here, and you guys are fucking hilarious. I have the time. I'm like a pig in shit. I have 15 comedians every other week, and I'm just laughing my ass off.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you're about as much as a comedian as I am right now, because basically it's very hard to get. I mean, you can perform a little bit. This week is actually kind of busy for me. I have 4 shows, which is shocking.
And are you tiny cupboard yet? Or are you Bel Air Diner? Have you gotten those choice gigs or not yet?
Yeah, I'm doing actually the Bel Air Diner tonight.
Big gig, man. Big. Like, I talk to some people and they're like, I can't get that. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What, you think I'm Erik Bransteen? Who the fuck do you think I am? You think I'm Tom McCaffrey? I can't get that fucking show. What is that? Is that just a fucking that's in their parking lot or whatever?
Yeah, it's a parking lot of a diner. So I think they were able to kind of, because a lot of places aren't allowed to have shows, but I think they were allowed to do it, which, I'm not sure how, but but basically in the tiny cupboard, I've done that. I actually did that last night. And that one is another one where they kind of let the show happen, but there's a lot of places where they don't, And
so what's it like performing on the rooftop with the best view in the history of time?
Have you been up there?
No, I've seen it. I mean, you're not a comic unless you've done tiny cupboards. So I've seen tons of my former guests are on there with their own show or just fucking, being on somebody else's show. And it's just the best view and the coolest setting too, with all the graffiti and shit.
Yeah, it's an amazing view. And, I performed there last night, and there's trains that go by, and I actually, during my set, I stopped, but people told me, you don't have to stop because the audience can still hear you. It's just you can't hear yourself at that point.
Do you have amplification? They have a mic, don't they?
They do. It's just very loud, but it doesn't actually affect the show. It's just in your mind it does. So.
It's like, this is something that I have to address because I'm a comic. I'm present. If somebody drops a glass, I need to mention it.
Yeah. I mean, I've done some indoor shows, and there weren't a lot of subway trains that went by indoors. Happened a couple of times, but that was a weird show anyway.
And so, so you're kind of getting used to, I mean, it sucks that would be something to get used to. Just talk through the fucking train. It's like, are you serious? Do I really have to get used to this shit? And have you done any park shows? Because some of those look cool.
Yeah, they're all cool. I mean, the tiny cupboard is really cool. The park shows are cool. It's just, again, there's some outside noise, there's I don't know if you ever heard this phrase, the check spot. Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah, where they drop the check. And so now, I saw somebody make the joke as a train spot or some shit.
There's a train spot. There's an ice cream man spot. There's an indoor spot. So there's a lot of that, dog barking spot. But
and where did you do? I think I had Lana Siebel on earlier today, and a lot of my guests were also on this Connecticut Comedy Festival. Were you on that? And what kind of festival stuff are you doing outside?
Nothing much. I've been up there though. I've been up to one of those shows. at the Connecticut. It's a cool setup. They have it at an outdoor setup. It's really nice.
Is that where they have the fucking stage and you kind of have an awning above you or some shit?
Yes, exactly. So it's
I think I've seen Birbiglia and Millennial do that. It's just fucking precious to see all the Erik Bransteens of the world fucking ply their trade under an awning. You know, that's actually pretty good. That's a pretty good gig if you can get it.
It's a good gig, yeah. I mean, but before the pandemic, like if you were ever booked on an outdoor show, you would be like, oh fuck, because it's harder. It's just harder. Yeah. But now it's like this is the best thing you can get, so you got to go for it.
And I had Olga Namer on, and she said something like the tent at Governor's was falling on her during her set, so that was funny. It's like, yeah, dude. I mean, all these people are getting some sweet gigs, but fuck, at what cost? You know, I think E-Man Morgan got hassled by the cops at one of his park shows, and I think a city councilman or a city council candidate apologized on Twitter. I was like, man, I can't believe city council candidates are trying to make hay out of the fact that, you know, why don't you elect me and I won't rouse the fucking comedians out of the park who are just trying to do a good thing. And are you playing some of the same shows as Tom McCaffrey, and kind of did you guys come up together, or how did you guys team up when it came to, you know, this is the guy I want to, you know, ply my podcast trade with Last Exit to Brooklyn?
Yeah, you know, I've known him for years, and he was doing the podcast for years, but then I kind of jumped in as the co-host because I think with a lot of these podcasts, it's good to have a co-host, you know.
And to jump on the existing podcast, that's pretty sweet too. He was rocking and rolling for a couple of years, and he's like, and Erik Bransteen just drops on jumps on the train. And how'd you do that? Just because you're a big motherfucker, or because you guys were close comedy compadres as far as taste and things you like to riff on?
I blackmailed him, so.
Yeah, I want to know. Like, there's got to be some fucking footage of fucking Tom McCaffrey with all he's always taking pictures of himself with dyed hair, thirst trapping and fucking rapping. There's got to be some sort of fucking rap out there with his name all over it.
Yeah, there's some, you know, interesting pictures I have on him. So it's collateral, as I call it. I don't know if you've seen that documentary. About NXIVM on HBO.
It just came out. Everybody's talking about it. No, I know about NXIVM, and I'm getting a lot of the comics talking about it. Did it just come out?
Yeah, it just came out. It's very interesting. But one of the things they do to like blackmail the people who get into the cult is like they say when you join, they're like, oh, you have to send us some really dirty pictures or some embarrassing stuff. Yeah. So you can prove your loyalty. And then they were like, who would do that? But it's apparently like lots of people did it.
And you did it with Tom.
I did it with Tom. Yeah, I just said, give me some collateral, and then that was it. Yeah.
I think Sarah Tolomai said something like, "Yeah, man, that NXIVM thing it actually seemed like a pretty cool thing, other than having to blow Steve or whoever they call him." Is that guy in jail or what?
Yeah, actually, but the thing is, it's all these cults. It was actually like not so bad when it started, and then like every cult, it always goes south, you know. Yeah. It looked like a Tony Robbins thing at first, and then it turned into, you know, it's always sex after that, you know. Right, when the cult leader finds out that he has all this power and he can basically fuck anybody in the cult, they usually do, you know?
Oh yeah, sure. And yeah, that's the big question. Like, if Erik Bransteen has a cult, which of course he's going to, what would be his kind of, you know, what would be the organizing principle? Who would you recruit? And I imagine they'd all get fucked in the end, right? Or would you try to be different somehow? Like, I don't really want to fuck with people. I just want to podcast with people or some shit. You can't be on this unless you're on my podcast.
I would never be in a cult or run a cult. Definitely not, because I'm very disorganized. I think that
Tom McCaffrey would have to run the fucking thing. Right?
Yeah, I just wouldn't. You know, I wouldn't follow up with people. I wouldn't. You know how they tell you to clean the bunks. Do they have bunks? Yeah. Is that a thing? I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. Clean the Nike shoes before you grab onto the comic.
There's like a lot of rules. You got to put them together. And I mean, I've run comedy shows before. That's hard enough. I'm not running a cult. So
some of those people, like, I think it's Samantha Bednar, was talking about a weekly fucking show. Like, she did a weekly show for years. And I think she was saying at the Cambry Cruise at the time, who of course books like crazy. You know, she books tons of shows, or at least is responsible for thousands of hours of entertainment. It's like, I think Samantha says something, it was the best day of her life when she figured out that thing was fucking done. Because it's like, how much work is a weekly fucking show, my lord? And so when you booked shows back in the day, were they monthly or like weekly?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was actually running one up until the pandemic hit. I was co-running it. It was on but it was pretty easy to run. It was on 48th Street. It's a place called the Gaff. And we had a good show there going on for years. And after a while, it's kind of easy because you have like this core audience that shows up, so you don't have to really do any promotion or anything like that.
And you had kind of regular comics who would be on.
Yeah, well, you would always get one spot for yourself, and then we'd put other comics on there that we liked, and it was a good show. And hopefully, one day it'll happen again.
Who'd you co-host with?
This guy Matt Azark and this other guy Jeff Cerulli. They're both funny comics. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And so are they? Do you see them on the fucking outdoor circuit or not? Like, yeah. How do you guys? What's the kind of reaction that you get when you see these people in the wild? I think Dustin Chafin just went to that Rosebud Baker wedding, and he said something like, or I think he was referring to that, and he said something like, "It was so nice to see these fucking comics, and they were all pretty humble."
Yeah.
Like it was. He goes like, "I had the most interesting conversations I've ever had with these people because everybody was relatively humble at the time." Like, what are you noticing when you're seeing these people in the wild? Are you just looking at each other like, "What the fuck are we doing?" Man?
Well, what I'm mostly surprised about is everyone's wearing masks, right?
Yeah.
And everyone recognizes me, and I don't recognize anybody.
Like, how the fuck am I supposed to recognize you people? Yeah.
I know, but I don't understand. Like, I must have like a very distinctive forehead because I mean, people be like, "Hey, what's up? How's it been?" I'm like, "Hello." Like, I can't help it. Your face is covered. Is that insulting?
I gotta look to see the forehead if you got the recognizable forehead or not.
I don't know. Maybe it's the height. I don't really know, but I can't recognize. I don't know. I can't recognize anybody with a mask on, like unless I've been with them for at least 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll get some idea. But
and so you're just like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" I'll figure it out eventually. Like that's why you're in comedy, man. For these moments, like you can think on your feet, right?
Yeah, some people actually like they're wearing a hat, sunglasses, and a mask. You know, right? It kind of looks like when the Invisible Man like would put on clothes. You know?
Yeah, you're like, how the fuck do you expect me to recognize you back?
Yeah, and and it's I don't know. You got to wear your mask though. Are you wearing your mask?
Dude, yeah, I fucking have this T-shirt that the minute it became illegal to go outside without a mask, I actually cut up a T-shirt, and I have the coolest mask known to man. Now I've gotten compliments on this fucking mask.
Nice.
And it's just but it flies up. Like I got the upskirt going on with my mask. And so like I'm crossing the street and there's this crosswind, and of course that's the time when it'll fucking fly up, and it's fucking dangerous. So, but otherwise it looks cool. I'm like a Darth Vader motherfucker. I think Dustin Chafin had a George Carlin mask. What are you rocking?
I wear a black mask.
Yes.
I'm not stylish with my mask, you know.
We need a last exit to Brooklyn mask.
No, I think I have allergies, so I sneeze in my mask a lot, which is you ever sneeze in your mask?
I think I have. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's like, you kind of like, did I just give myself COVID? I'm not, that's how fucked up it is.
Mine just blows up then, like because I got the upskirt going on. Like the minute I sneeze, it will just blow up and I'll be fine. Like it's not trapped in there.
Really?
You got to get the upskirt going, man. It's sweeping the nation.
I don't know. I'm reusing the same masks. I'm washing them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you supposed to even wash them? I'm not even know.
Yo, they're like, you're supposed to wash this shit daily. And I'm like, motherfucker. And then we just found out that the USPS, we're going to send 5 reusable masks to every household in America. It's like 650 million masks. I was like, you motherfuckers, I could have had 5 reusable masks back in April. And it was like, that's when I cut my T-shirt off, and I haven't fucking washed it since, because you need a second mask. I don't even have a second mask yet. Fuck it.
Yeah, you need that backup mask, And then I think my masks are shrinking because now they look like panty liners. I'm not even sure what, but who knows?
Sexy. They're gonna recognize you by your panty liner face. They're like, look at him with this fucking panty liner. He's sniffing somebody's thong here. But also, like with people like Batman and stuff like that, they never talked about the backup mask, and so it's like it's not really real anymore. And even like when Starbucks closed, when all this shit happened, like I was cursing because that's where I get my food. I have OCD, so I don't use my kitchen. So I get all my food at Starbucks. Absolutely.
Okay.
And even I'm dieting right now, and Starbucks is my diet actually.
How many muffins a day can you eat?
Oh, and like I could eat all day long, but like I pretty much just have a morning meal with their fucking sausage thing and a drink, and that's my meal for the day. But like I was like when I found out that thing was closed because of COVID, I was cursing, motherfucking piece of shit. And then it makes you think about all these apocalyptic things that you've seen, like Walking Dead, and you're like, that's not real. Like unless you have a fat podcaster swearing that the Starbucks is closed. I mean, I guess they're later in the apocalypse thing, but man, like, was there anything that you discovered about like, oh shit, I didn't know that this would affect me like this?
Well, have you been to Starbucks lately?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed the last time I was there, they're finally, because they don't want to touch you and stuff like that, they're putting milk in your coffee.
Oh.
Finally, that was always the knock on them for all the years. Like, you actually had to put the coffee in, the milk in the coffee.
Wow.
So, I mean, if anything good came out of this pandemic, right? I mean, 200,000 people dead, but I don't have to put in my half and half. So I think that's a good trade-off, don't you think? Or no?
Yeah, it's not too bad. And like now I think now they unveiled the straw, like the lids. Like now they have new lids for an ice drinks, where the straw it's done, like you can drink it without a straw now. And so they even have unveiled new lids as a result. But like back in the day, I was so pissed off. But then I saw in Tokyo and some shit, they had a Starbucks. They were actually taking people's temperature back in the day. And months ago, I was like, I'd rather it be closed than fucking have somebody take my temperature, the forehead temperature. I'm a fat motherfucker. I've been walking here. Like, like I'm gonna have a temperature.
Right. I like how you had to say forehead.
Oh yeah, yeah. they take it rectally in Tokyo. But yeah, so we're gonna keep track of all the funny motherfuckers, all the funny shit. It's Erik B Comic at Instagram, but it's also Erik Bransteen at Twitter. But then there we can see things like. I see historicmedia.com/last exit to Brooklyn. And there we see that you're on Apple and Google and Spotify and Stitcher, everywhere the big time podcasts are.
Absolutely.
Dude, fuck yeah. Erik Bransteen, thank you so much.
This was great. Thanks so much.